everyone, we are here with Cody Round to talk all things Special Forces. Now you made it to the last episode. Maybe, like you said, maybe not on that podium, but you made it to the end. I think that's, something to be very proud of. You were very intense and very locked in through this entire process. Is that kind of how you always are, or did you have to turn it on specifically for this show?
Oh, I'm always intense. I think that I have a condition and I have to really fight to focus. So you see me a lot of times with my eyes really wide. I mean, I think they compared me to the doctor from Back to the Future, Dr. Emmett Brown.
Yeah.
I was very intense, tried to be locked in, but I was just trying to hyper focus.
Now that you've seen the show, I'm wondering, were you aware of how much you got under everyone's skin, or was that something that you realized after the fact?
Yeah, that was all like after. I was like, guys, it was, not only was it embarrassing, it made me feel bad.
Aww.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm being optimistic the entire time. And I think the optimism was carrying me, and the enthusiasm, the kind of a weird place, just the excitement of being there. Because every time we would accomplish a challenge, if we weren't ridiculed too much after we were done, you'd feel kind of elation, this power of having done something super hard and lived to tell the tale. And no, I didn't know I was that irritating, but I guess it's just the way. I mean, like, I'm out there, I'm trying to be optimistic the entire time. And I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
I think even the DS at one point, they were like, he's like a big version of Chucky. I was like, first of all, where do you come up with that? And second of all, what did you feel? How did you feel about hearing that?
Well, I'm having a first-person experience the entire time. We got these 18-hour days of just running, and then I'm watching it in third person, and I'm hearing what other people are saying about me. And in the world that I live in, it is what other people say about you that develops your character, who you are. And I didn't see myself that way, and it was it sucked.
Oh, I'm so
to hear them talk about me like somehow or another I was a crazy person that was only successful because I was too nuts to realize I was in pain. I was just optimistic.
In your mirror room, we saw you kind of break down over the state of your relationship with your kids, and you did finally admit to like a part that you may have played in that estrangement.
I should have had a stronger relationship with my children.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
So what are you going to do about that?
I took all credit for it at the time, because in the military, I just don't think you do things half measures. I can't say, well, I'm partly to blame, and it's very nuanced. So I'm like, I could have done better. As everybody in the situation we were in with the divorce, so my children were victims of a very nasty, multiple layer divorce. And they, of course, were closer to their mothers. I had a close relationship, or I thought a good relationship with all of my children until the divorces. I was offended by a lot of what they did.
What did they do?
My children, they rejected me.
I see.
I felt like I gave all my kids what I had as long as they were engaging me. They always got reciprocation. And then it just started to, there was just this polarization that started to happen, and a lot of blame game and a lot of things that happened. So there's a lot of water under the bridge. But it's like I could have done better, and I know that I could have done better. And of course, I'm making an effort, and have been making an effort, to be in contact with my children, to I'll go through that hard work of fixing relationships that are really strained.
Yeah, and how is that going? How has their kind of response been to seeing you talk about this on the show and to these efforts that you've been making?
It's really a tough thing, because when you're in reality TV or you're doing podcasting or anything like that, what you say goes on record, and other people start to like judge you by that. So, my opinion of myself won't matter. Your opinion of me, what you tell the public, is going to matter. So when you have this happen with your children, and your children go, my dad did this or my dad did that, you really have no defense of it, because I can't throw my children under the bus, or I've made the mistake of saying something that I shouldn't have about my children, and this hurts relationships. So reality television can be really hard on relationships. Special Forces is this type of situation where you're going to trauma bond with each other, but I feel like some of the things were still like, I mean, in the end, they're pitting us against each other. You know, like she says, you're creepy. And I'm like, well, I am kind of creepy. Have you seen my hair? and I mean, that's, and so, and I think she was just looking for a word to say, like, to protect me. She's like, he's creepy, in order to say, I don't know him.
Right.
You know, we're not familiar like you might want to try and tell us we are.
Right.
So you just have to be careful in these environments not to be offended or hurt by what is said. You just go, okay, this is reality television. And it is a form of a circus. And I was just the circus clown
You
for
were
these
there.
episodes.
Well, I'm wondering, have you heard from any of your ex-wives about the show or
Not at
anything
all.
like that? Not at all.
Heard nothing. Haven't. You know, I'm not surfing social media or
Right.
very much media. I don't know if they've talked about me. I don't know if they've said anything. I know that my oldest son, who's talked to me a little bit about it, is watching, and then I watch it with all the children at home. My oldest son of my wife and I, he comes home to watch it with us.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, you know, it seemed like a handful of the fellow recruits, even the DS, you know, they were just finding out about your lifestyle and your history and everything like that. What kind of reaction do you normally get from people when when you tell them about that?
Well, the problem is now all of the polygamy thing is all in my past.
Right.
And the 18 children, of course, is not in my past. So I used to say, well, I have 4 wives to introduce myself to people that were strangers that were going to find out anyway. Now then I started introducing with the divorces. I have 18 children. You know, it's like, because that's kind of a segue into a conversation.
You know, you told your recruits, you know, your wife now is your final wife. You're done after
the
this.
only wife I'm ever going to have.
Yes. Why is that? Why are we putting it all in the past?
Well, mostly just because I don't feel like there's a spiritual obligation,
Yeah.
a religious obligation to having more than one wife now, because I've already done it. I feel like I've fulfilled the law in that sense. Came out as a failure, you know, in the end, but whatever. I don't know what to do with it now. And mostly because, you know, there's a synergy and a trust that her and I have, a really good, loving relationship, and I just don't see any value in having another woman be part of that. I don't want that. And so it's like, I really just want quality time with you. This quantity over quality should have never been part of my life. I should have always been seeking quality, and I have quality now, and that's what I want to stick to. As I move forward with the relationship with all my children, I'm hoping for more quality in that relationship. But we have to do a lot of work. All of us have to do a lot of work with regaining trust.
You did make it to the end. Unfortunately, you failed the final task and you were taken off of the course. How did you feel about that? And do you think that Gia and Sean's win was well deserved?
Oh, I think watching the finale, watching them manage the capture and everything, I was like, you know, they struggled in the very beginning. And from a perspective of being in condition and ready to be there to perform, I was maybe a little bit arrogant, and I was like, you ladies don't really belong here. Then they win, not Sean, but Sean came in shape, I believe. But here's the thing is, they did so well in a place where I couldn't. I was just like, yeah. So I watched the final episode and I'm like, you guys earned that.
Yeah.
You know, because I in the final, you know, I could run, I could keep up with the pro ballers. I pulled my hamstring on day 3, like I tore it. Big purple bruise behind my knee. But I just managed to keep up with those things. But in the end, I just really lost my head, and I got to the point where I knew myself, you know, I'm going to talk, and the first person that's going to talk is going to be me unless I just stop talking. So I stopped talking and got in a place where, because I wasn't talking, I couldn't protect anybody or help anybody or serve anybody besides just not talk. And I was just like, well, what am I, when I open my mouth, you don't know if I'm going to be valuable or invaluable or destructive. So I just shut up.
Right.
I didn't know what to do or say. And those girls managed that really well. So I thought, to be fair, I'm disappointed for Bree because she really deserved to be on that podium. And I think she just, the panic hit her finally with the coffin. Like, who wants to lay down in a mud coffin? But I think she could have done it. And I think she deserved to be on the podium.
Well, one last quick question. We kind of talked a little bit about it before we started rolling, but you were a little surprised about Gia washing her face and the hygiene and everything. I was gonna say, what's something that maybe didn't make it to air that you wish did, but I want to know about this deodorant and the hygiene. You got to tell me about that.
So I went, having watched other shows, I just didn't know we were going to be able to shower. I was taking supplements that I'd need, be able to, just manage myself. I took foot care mostly, and I just didn't know what we were going to have. So when we're allowed to shower, but I'm the oldest guy, I'm the last one in the shower, the last thing I want to do, and I take long showers because I'm exhausted, and I don't want to get called out by the DS or have to go out and get smoked. So I just didn't shower for a couple days, and Brie Lapaglia is just like, Cody, you stink. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I haven't been showering. I said, well, why don't you take a shower? Well, I didn't even bring deodorant because I didn't think we'd be able to shower. So I take a shower, and I Andrew East, a great guy, a man's man. Andrew, can another guy use your deodorant? Sure, brother, here you go, thanks. And it didn't help, I still smelled.